All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. And in this video, we're going to talk about Jaron Ennis rolling through CUSTIO CLAYTON, calling out Errol Spence Jr. and Errol Spence Jr. responding. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. Man, I'm actually making this video in the middle of the fight, a little bit before the Brian Castano, Jermell Charlo fight. Just got done watching the Jaron Ennis versus CUSTIO CLAYTON fight in the aftermath with Errol Spence Jr. But before I get into that, though, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are a longtime subscriber and supporter, thank you for watching another video. If you're new to the channel, please accept my invitation to subscribe to the channel by hitting the subscribe button and hit the bell icon so that you can be notified of when we release more videos, which we do on a daily basis and pretty much live streams every day. So there's always a really good boxing conversation going on the channel. So please join the community. All right, so Jaron Ennis, up and coming 147 pounder, fought CUSTIO CLAYTON in an IBF title eliminator, the winner being the new challenger, or the new mandatory challenger for Errol Spence Jr. And Jaron Ennis did not upset, man. Knocked him out. I can't remember. You got to forgive me whether it was a first or a second round knockout, but knocked him out in very, very short order. CUSTIO CLAYTON came out there jabbing, trying to handle his business. Second round knockout, I'm pretty sure. Jaron Ennis pretty much just walked him down, landing big jabs, switched orthodox southpaw different times, and looked for the first opening that popped up. The first opening that popped up, CUSTIO CLAYTON tries to duck underneath the shot, dips down at the waist, hands drop down as he goes down, as he tries to dip underneath the shot. Jaron Ennis hits him with a really big overhand right. Right landed pretty much right on the back of his ear, about right there, and that was it for the fight, man. Dude knocked him down. He tried to get back up, fell back down again, wobbled over here, wobbled over there. Ref said, walk to me, wobbled again, and then ref called the fight off. Pretty much, man, just too much power for CUSTIO CLAYTON. I'm not really sure if CUSTIO CLAYTON really thought he had any chance in that fight. Looked scared from the beginning of the fight, pretty much all the way through the end of the fight. But, you know, he did what he could do, and that was get knocked out, because that was pretty much all that was going to happen. I was actually hoping that we may get a little bit more out of him in that fight, maybe get Jaron Ennis tested a little bit, but CUSTIO CLAYTON clearly did not have what was necessary to do that. So for all the people that were involved in the chat that were talking about how people were underestimating CUSTIO CLAYTON, nah, didn't underestimate at all. You underestimated Jaron Ennis. After the fight, though, Jaron Ennis was asked, you know, who he wants to fight next, what he wants to do next. And he says, you know, Errol Spence Jr. is at the fight, and he says, well, we got the big fish out here, man. So it's time, I guess it's time to go fishing, right? Calling out Errol Spence Jr. For the fight. Honestly, man, it was so interesting watching Jaron Ennis, because he just seemed like a kid in the candy store, just super, super giddy and happy, and just really felt like, you know, he's just really, really into the moment, man. Can tell that this kid really loves what he's doing, but just when the way that he reacted to the knockout and like all of the attention on him, just really seemed to me to be like a kid in the candy store, you know, a very fresh experience for him. I think the last fight that he had, I think he may have been in front of a crowd for the fight with Thomas Delorme, but the one before that was Sergey Lipinets. There was nobody in there because it was still COVID. But you just could see the energy, the happiness on him. Now, Errol Spence Jr., for his part, made sure he responded in an interview and was like, look, I heard Jaron Ennis calling me out, talking about, you know, it's time to reel in the big fish. He said, man, you better be careful trying to reel me in, man. You may get something on that line that you don't want, right? And I would say right now, man, you know, obviously Errol Spence Jr. and Terrence Crawford is the fight that people want to see. And that is, the fight that people really want to have be made. And, I agree with that, man. Look, I'm big on Jaron Ennis, and I think that he right now is probably the third best welterweight in the world, but I do think that he should probably get in there with a guy like Keith Thurman. Like, I would say Keith Thurman would probably be the perfect fight for him next. Somebody that may be able to take him some rounds, may be able to hit him with something, make him think about something, versus like the fights that he's been having. Now, and the thing, a lot of people will say, yeah, we've said that before about Jaron. I'm not sure of him because of the level of competition he's had. But look, with Jaron Ennis, it's not just about, the level of guys that he's been in there with. It's also about what he's done to the guys that are in there. That is not easy to treat Thomas Delorme, Sergey Lipinets, like that. Now, CUSTIO CLAYTON, I think CUSTIO CLAYTON may have overachieved a little bit with Sergey Lipinets. I was not so, convinced with him as I was, the Sergey Lipinets was a legitimate, a tough challenger, or Thomas Delorme, even though Thomas Delorme is coming up in weight from 140 to 147. But to see Jaron in there, either with Keith Thurman, or maybe have him fight Butiev, the guy that just lost to Staniansis, might be a really good fight for him. But, just looking at it, man, the fight was so easy for him that I would hate to see it. It was so easy for him that it's hard for me to believe that a fight is going to be that easy with either Errol Spence Jr. or Terrence Crawford. So to see him just get to where, if he treats somebody like Staniansis like that, if he treats Butiev like that, if he treats even a higher level fighter like Keith Thurman like that, then I'll be like, okay, man, this dude is just, all right, it's time to go. Even though he may still, be a little bit green, and I'm not saying that he looked green in the ring, but just looking green and just the way that, he took the kid in the candy store look on his face, just to see him get some more rounds in with those guys, maybe a little bit better, man. Maybe a guy who is fighting at 154 that can't come down, may come down to 147 to fight him or whatever. But, as far as anybody other than those two guys, I'm telling you, man, Jaron Ennis is most definitely the absolute class of that division, with the exception of the top two guys and maybe Keith Thurman. I don't see any of these other prospects, any of these other guys coming anywhere near him. And when he really does get going, like at 25, 26, 27 years old, provided he continues to stay focused and all that, man, the sky is the limit for that guy without a doubt. But, right now, man, obviously, he's going to have to wait for that fight with Errol Spence. And that's what Errol Spence Jr. said, when he asked him, I was like, no, man, Jaron Ennis is like that. But, he's just on the precipice. Just keep doing what you're doing, because he's the same place that I was when I was looking to fight Porter and Garcia and Thurman, hungry for the fight. He said he's doing what he's supposed to do. He's supposed to be calling guys out and doing all of that. And I agree 100%. But anyway, great showing by Jaron Ennis. Super exciting, man. Super excited for the kid. Anyway, with that, I'm out. Deuces.